So with the fan vote, which accounts for 50% of the total voting, all accounted for, say hello to your two Philadelphia 76er All-Stars, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. So before we get into it, I just wanted to say welcome to Sixers Digest. Make sure you're subscribing if you're not. So according to ESPN and Tim Bontemps' report, beside the two Lakers stars, this combo of Embiid and Maxey was actually the highest combination of All-Star Game vote getters from one team this year. Yeah, they even beat out the Boston Jays, It was a really impressive showing from Sixers fans, letting the people know why they think Maxey truly deserves this. And I thought that was great to see. So welcome to the big time, Maxey, and welcome back once again to the All-Star Game, Joel Embiid. Now, I wanted to talk about a little bit about what it means for two 76ers players to be on the All-Star Game and for the team in general, what it all means. So this is the sixth straight All-Star Game for Joel Embiid, right? And that should be no surprise to anyone. But I think it's also another moment to be really proud as a Sixers fan for how we've moved on from that awful, slow Harden team and into the much more quick Maxey era. Now, let's look at our past All-Stars, right? It's been Joel, of course, for the last 6 years. You have James the one time in 22, but other than that, it's been just Simmons and Embiid for the last decade. Yeah, you heard me right, a decade. It was 2012 and 2013, respectively. We had Drew Holiday and Iggy, but before that, you got to go all the way into the AI era to get another second All-Star on the team, whether it's with Dikembe Mutombo or Theo Ratliff. And hey, you guys remember when Theo Ratliff made an All-Star game? That was cool. Let's not think about what happened after his selection. You guys can look that up on your own if you're so curious. I think there might be some younger 76ers fans who weren't quite around for the 2001 season. But hey, there's certain things about that season that I think we would all love to see happen again this time. So here's the thing. If you want to make an argument against why Tyrese Maxey deserves it, you'd be looking at his shooting percentages being down from the last couple of years. But if you know anything about Maxey's game and the Sixers this season, you'll realize that his jump in volume made a downturn in efficiency become almost inevitable. He's still shooting 44% from the field and 37% on threes, but his volume is way up. I mean, he's up to taking 8 threes a game this season. And here's the really important differential. So he's 26-6 on the season, right? And he's 25-5 in the games without Embiid. Now, I've talked about some of those games. Maybe we need a 30-piece from Maxey to stay competitive. But when you think about his role when Embiid is on the court versus when he's off the court, it's very different. And Maxey is still something of a spacer when the offense is running through Embiid. And in the last couple of years, that was really his one role on the floor, was his pace and shooting ability spacing the floor. But now when Embiid's not on the floor, and sometimes when he is even, Maxey has been charged with the responsibility of leading the offense and finding the passes and really just making all the playmaking on his own outside of Embiid's, we've talked about it a lot, but Embiid's absolutely elite level playmaking for a big man. So I want to talk about what Maxey does for our team on the whole, though, because last season, look, we had James Harden having one of his most surprisingly efficient late career seasons. He was like, back to being a normal point guard, and I think Sixers fans were really happy to see that. But then you look at the comparison this year, and the pace is up. It's small, but the pace is up from 96 to 99 possessions per game. And I think just those 3 possessions can be accredited to the way Maxey runs the offense when he's out there as the focal point versus when Harden would. For Maxey to be the lead guard on a team without Embiid and even with Embiid when Embiid's running an MVP campaign, and for that offensive rating also to stay the same as it was last year is a true accomplishment. I mean, look, we might be a little sour at Harden, but he did some incredible things on offense last year, and he's an all-time great offensive player in the regular season. So when you get a somewhat lackluster return from him, anyone who is just calculating odds based on stats would say that the Sixers are going to lose a few points per game and lose quite a few in the win column this year. But I think Maxey stepping into the role as that number 2 is the reason they haven't. And that, even above his impressive scoring stats, is why Maxey is your second All-Star here in the 2023-2024 season. And hopefully more to come too, right? So are we looking for a third All-Star? That's been the whole thing lately, is the trade rumors. How are they looking to upgrade the perimeters? Look, a lot of people forget Tobias Harris was played out at All-Star level when we got him. That's just for Sixers fans to get a little mad at me there, because I know we're all a little upset with him from day to day. But I don't think a third All-Star is really what the Sixers need right now. When you're looking at the other guys getting selected to the All-Star game, they're all going to hamstring your cap room, especially with the new CBA. I feel like with that new CBA, we're going to see a very different Morey than we have in the last 15 years. So I think if we can stick with this core of Maxey and Embiid, we can see a lot more All-Star games out of them too. And as long as our role players are good enough, that is a core of 2 All-Stars leading a team that I will follow into the darkest pits of the NBA playoffs. I really think that's a great thing coming up for the Sixers, is this potential trend. I mean, looking back again, as we said, that chart with our previous All-Star selections was ridiculous when you just look at the last 10 years and Simmons, Embiid. We all knew Simmons wasn't going to be a real player, and I keep flashing that Theo Ratliff. Theo Ratliff was getting 4.4 blocks a game one season. Did you guys know that? But regardless, I think that having 2 All-Stars like this in rotation every single year is what a dynasty is made of, frankly. All the great dynasties had that. And I just think that if the Sixers are serious about moving forward and winning a championship, and then they don't want one championship. They have Embiid for his prime, and they'll have Maxey for his prime. They got to lock these guys up as tight as they can. They got to make these guys, and they already feel at home in Philly, but I'm just saying, we have a really great thing right now, much better than we did with Simmons and Embiid, even if they had a handful of All-Star game appearances in a row. And I think the future is so much brighter than it was coming out of the process era. And I think that really says something about Morey's upper management style. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for allowing me to take over this channel here and there. And I hope you're enjoying the videos. Keep subscribing. Go Sixers. See ya.